Welcome to Tokyo Xtreme Racer. Today we're taking a first look into the game, where I'm going to show you as much as I possibly can so you get an idea of what to expect and whether this is a game you want to go and buy. This game is just about a month old at the time this video is actually going out, exactly on the day, and it's in early access. We've had a few patches, some tweaks, some adjustments so far in the first month, which is nice, but don't let the early access title fool you. This honestly feels like a proper polished game. It feels like a full game. If I came into this game blind without knowing its early access status, I would honestly think it was a full release. That's how well this early access title to me is. But let me show you everything about the game, just to prove to you that yeah, I stand by that statement. Because yes, I do think it is probably one of the most polished early access titles I've ever experienced. And this is running on Unreal Engine 5, it's really optimized, it's got great progression, and it's really fun because it does one concept really, really well, and that is simply just dueling other racers on the Tokyo highways. And best of all, this is a single player offline game. There's no online only, there's none of that, which is even better. So I'm going to show you the menus because that is just as important to the gameplay loop as the actual racing, and I'll get into the racing in a little bit too. And I'm going to explain as much of this game as I possibly can in as much detail as I can so you get a flavor of how everything works, right? So as you can see, we're in our garage. On the left, you sort of have your stats, your driver stats, your journal, which is sort of your overall statistics, and your collection. Right. So you can see my garage size is 30, but I only have 3 cars. And I've got a maximum speed of 150. You know, I'm roughly 10-20 hours in at the moment. And some of this will make sense up here later on. If you're familiar with the TXR series, you'll know what the attack and defense is. I'll explain that in a second. And you have a credit cap. And I've just unlocked skill points to the point where I've increased it to 7 mil. Then on the right, you've got your car sort of stats here, and you can increase these by adding new parts to it. Currently, you're looking at the Toyota GTA 6. I'll show you some of the other cars too as well. What you can do is you can change your tires too. So you've got hards, mediums, and softs, and if you're familiar with racing games that utilize this, or you're a sim racer, you'll be very familiar with this, and it's exactly what you expect. Softs are the quickest, but they will degrade the quickest. Medium is the middle ground, and then hards aren't as fast and degrade the slowest. Now, skills are little things you can unlock with skill points, and this one is really good to combo with soft tires because it reduces the tire wear by 10%. I've not unlocked everything, but there are some in here. So there's a stamina boost for your SP gauge. For those people that like visiting our good friend Mariar, there's that one for you, in contact with other cars, etc. So you can only equip one of these at a time. Now if we open the route menu, you can see we've got all of this to have a look at. So first of all, the dealership. Now, based on the progression is based on what you can see here. So effectively, I've only unlocked so much. So for Suzuki, this is one of the starter cars. It's the Swift. And then we've got Toyota. And these little symbols here indicate what I currently own. For Mazda, this is what you can sort of expect. As I said, this is not the full car list, so this is what I've unlocked. Now, as you defeat rivals and teams, you'll actually unlock their cars too, so you can unlock all the rivals' cars, as you can see here. Alright. Now, let's say you did want to buy a car, right? I don't have the credits to buy anything right now. But let's say you did, right? You can choose its color. Now this can be fine-tuned later. And you can customize your number plate like this. I'm just putting in random stuff just as a example, right? And then you can buy it. I'll explain about more customization later because there is a lot more. That's just the basic things just to get you going, basically. Now if we go to our collection, this is your collection. This is your garage. And I have 3. I have the Torino, I've got the Levin, and then I've got the 86 as well, which is what I currently have. And you can edit the license plate in here if you want to. You can sell it, so I could sell this for 3.5 mil. And this is just to select to actually switch to it. So if I did that, that's me in that car now. I'm just going to switch back again. And that's the collection. For reference, this is sort of a bit of lore. This is sort of your seeing where you've got up to, and you can select on any of the rivals that you've gone against, and there are details about them, and you can have a look at their car and a bit of lore about them. So there's a bit of sort of backstory, as you can see in there. And it's also to track some progress. So there are some segments of the map where there are records for speed traps, which is this one, or the segments, which is basically a little time trial as you're driving around, which I've not really focused on, but as you drive, you sort of drive through them, so you complete these as you go along, really. Next is perks. This is where progression gets interesting. So you have, as you can see, I haven't unlocked everything, but this driver level is to do with your attack and defense, to do with your SP bar. Again, if you're not familiar with that, I will explain that in a little bit when we get to the racing bit. Skills, these are the skills that I showed you earlier that you can take in. As you can see, I haven't unlocked everything just yet, but I've unlocked majority. You've got perks as well, which is to do with your things like your wallet. So I think you start with 2 mil as your maximum, and then I've just simply increased it. The same with my garage, just because I've just got the available points to do so, including maintenance and things like that, loyal customer, discount prices, and things like that. Machines, this is where you unlock your cars, and the more that you unlock in here, the more will appear in the dealership, because this really is the full sort of car list here. As you can sort of see, I have all these sort of locked at the moment. All of these, yeah. And then you've got tuning, which is your upgrades. So I haven't unlocked everything, which is actually why I recently bought the GT86 behind us here, just simply because the Torino had got to its limit. Now, talking of its limit, let's talk about the tune menu. So this is where you apply your upgrades, and you use that perk screen to unlock more upgrades as you go along. So the progression system basically works the same. If you want to purchase something, you have to unlock it first, unless it's a cosmetic item, and I'll get to that later too. So you've got things like in the power units, right? And it, you know, we're on level 2 at the moment. It can go up to level 4, and it's going to cost us $1 mil for that if we need to unlock that, for example. Nitro is also something that you unlock later on, but I haven't equipped that just yet. And it's all to do with this. Now, when you unlock certain things, this will unlock the sort of what they call the settings menu. Now, when I press on the word tune, you might think, well, that's to do with tuning, adjusting things like your brake bias and your suspension and stuff. But no, this is sort of your upgrade area. The settings area is this is where this comes in. So you can adjust your alignment, your brake, LSD, your suspension. You may notice we don't have stabilizer because we haven't unlocked the correct, or bought, should I say, the correct upgrade in order to unlock that. And it will let you know. So one of the ones in here, whatever it's to do with, once we've unlocked the correct one, it will say, yeah, you can now do this in the tuning menu. The aero menu is just your cosmetics. So you've got things for the bonnet, front bumper, side skirt, rear bumper, rear spoiler. You've got neon lights underneath. Then you've got wheel calipers, rotors, and wheels. as an example, if you wanted to apply a spoiler, which is 200k, there you go. And let's do bonnet as well as an example too. I'm not that fond of this view here for the bonnet, because you sort of have to do that just to sort of see. And press V again to get out of that, and then escape. And then your neon, let's say the side. There you go, that's sort of what it looks like. And then we've got wheel. And there you go. And then if I show you this as well, see it change in there. So there is a whole load of customization options, including a load of wheels. Like these. Look at some SSRs and BBS. And this is the same with all the cars. So there's also a livery editor, and this is where you can sort of customize your car, which is why I've got this sort of blue here. This is my own custom color that I've chosen, and you've got your official colors, and then you've got these other custom ones, and then you've got this where you've got an entire RGB slider here. So you can absolutely choose exactly what you want to go for, in the exact color, which is really nice. I love it when games have this, because it means you can really customize what it should be for you. Now lastly, options. This isn't exactly the most exciting thing, but I do want to show you. You can adjust various options in here, including rear view mirror display in the bonnet view, and this is by default I think turned off. If you want to turn that on, you'll have to enable this, because this is something they've added in an update that wasn't previously part of this. You can choose to be manual if you want to, or automatic. I'm going to keep mine in automatic for now. And all these sort of settings, these are my settings too. Everything's basically maxed out. I do have DLSS as well. And then you've got your sound settings, and then you've got your controller settings. So at the moment it's on mouse and keyboard, but if I turn on my controller, you can see that it now selects the Xbox controller that I have too. And you can adjust all of this. I believe I have adjusted some stuff down here when it comes to the handling and the return time and stuff like that, but you can adjust all of this too to your own liking. I felt that the initial handling was a little bit too sensitive on the stick, so I've just sort of tuned it to my liking, and then there's also the settings for utilizing in the menu too. So let me take you into Enter Course, which is the one thing in Garage I didn't actually explain about. So this is the map, and it's very, very busy at the moment because I have a lot of things unlocked. So if I do all that, that has decluttered everything. And as you can see, we've got a lot of inns, we've got some PA areas as well, and this is where you enter the map. So you can enter at any point. Now, because I've done a lot of progression, I've basically unlocked everything, maybe apart from this parking area here. As you drive along, you will unlock these. So not all of these will be available. You will start, I believe it's these two here. So these are the only two you'll have initially. And as you start driving around and pass through the ramps, you will effectively unlock them to go elsewhere. And here is just the teams that you need to go through. So I need to defeat certain people here in these lists. Or there's the rival list as well. So the ones that are yellow are ones I've gone against but lost. Blue are the ones that I still need to challenge. Green are the ones that I have already challenged and have won against. So as you can see, there's a mix of all those three colours there. So let's dive into one of these. Let's go down here. So this area of the map is very twisty-turny, has a lot of corners and stuff, and then you've got sort of down here, which as you can see is a really long straight. So if you want to test your top speed of a car, you sort of go down here with this. So let's go into departure, and I'm going to go OK. Right, here we are, out on the highway. And I've switched to controller for this, because you can use both. You can use your keyboard and mouse or controller. And if I press down on the D-pad, I can actually do auto drive or autopilot, and it will just drive by itself without me having to do anything. A sort of nice thing if, I don't know, you wanted to go AFK for a couple of minutes, you just press that button and then off you go. This is also a great opportunity to sort of explain the HUD. So on the left you have your mini-map, and I explained the colours of the triangles before. The ones with the solid triangles, by the way, they are just regular rivals, because every team has a regular member, team member, and then a boss. So you can see the blue triangle at the bottom there, just south of us, in the same direction as us. It has a little triangle, black triangle in the middle, and that indicates a team leader. Now you may notice another triangle symbol that's traveling downwards, the yellow one, which is a little bit different to that blue one that's on that mini-map, and that is a boss, and that's how you determine who is who. You've got your credits down there too, and then over on your right, you've got your tyres. You can see I'm on medium tyres. You can see my speed, and it will say what gear I'm in, and AT. AT basically means I'm in automatic transmission, and then MT would mean I'm in manual. And that's honestly personal preference if you want to use automatic or manual. Now if I press the down on the D-pad again, that takes it off and I can take over. And if I press right, I can actually use my indicators. Like that. And like that. And pressing up, there's hazards. Until I press them off again. Now what you can also do is this isn't just the only view. You've got this view, this third person view. You've got this closer one, which I'm not exactly a fan of. You've also got the bonnet view. And the HUD view. So whichever one you fancy. Now remember I said about segments earlier? What's come up is a measure standby. And this will be a speed trap. There we go, 79 miles per hour. I wasn't gunning it, so it's gonna record that, but it's not gonna be a personal best. And those notifications will pop up when you get to those segments. If it's a time trial segment, it will sort of tell you how much longer you have until the end. So let's show you some actual racing, an actual duel. Let's go up to this guy up here. Now I am in the process of actually upgrading this GT86. It's not quite up to scratch to what the Torino was, I don't believe. So if I lose this, that will be why. Because I'm in the money grind element. Now these bars at the top, if you're unfamiliar, you need to distance yourself from the other player and you will run down your bar. This one might be a tight one. If you make contact, your bar will go down. That's either with other cars or a barrier. So you've also got to be careful. And drafting is most certainly a thing in this. Oh, there we go. And the rival's route is this way, so let's go this way. As you can see, because he crashed, his bar is going all the way down. And I've won. Just like that. And it's given me 20,000 credits. Just like that. So these marked rivals, when they're blue, they'll have a question mark against them. Now what's also really cool, although these are official rivals for teams, and you'll get things like skill points from defeating them, you can actually, as you can see, I can challenge just the regular traffic too. There's nothing special about these. You can just challenge them for money. They're usually really easy, but if maybe you're on a stretch of road that doesn't have many rivals on, you can just challenge anyone, and there you go. And I get credits for my first attack and things like that. Relatively easy. It's sort of nice if you don't just want to cruise from each rival to the next. There we go, 9,500 for that. And they're all called the Nameless One. Every single one of them, because they're just general traffic. But it's something nice that you can do. And as you can see, we're actually in one of those time trial segments at the moment. Oh. You may have noticed our tyres have also gone down there as well. I think this one might be a more difficult one for us, but we'll see. Just to show you a bit more of a challenging one, particularly for this car. But we'll see. Because I have defeated this guy before. Yeah, he is away. He is away. So you can see he's attacking my bar there. And if I crash into this car, you can see it jump down again. Or if I smash into the barrier, it will jump down again. But I have to basically be within, I think it's like 20 yards of him in order to stop the bar depleting. And that stat from the garage, that's your attack stat and your defense stat, that's all to do with how quickly that bar goes down for you or your opponent. The last thing I want to show you is sort of a battle between my Torino and an R34 rival that I did during a live stream. It was quite an insane duel, probably the best one I've ever done in this game thus far. I just sort of want to show you it as I wrap up, because that is Tokyo Xtreme Racer. And hopefully I've shown you enough and explained it in enough detail so you can sort of get what this game's about and decide whether this game is for you or not. As I said at the start, this doesn't feel like an early access game. I've had very minimal bugs. If it has, it's been not a game-breaking bug, and they've been updating it fairly regularly. Now, I haven't memorized every single price point for this, but it is £24.99 for the UK. You can obviously go on steam.db and check the pricing for your own currency, or just go into the Steam page there as well if you want to check, but it's relatively cheap. If this game has interested you today, I really highly recommend it. It's really fun, it's really polished, it's really optimized, and it's really a lot of fun. And is it too bold of me to say it's my game of the year so far? Maybe, but I've had so much fun in this that I just can't recommend this game enough. But don't make that sway your decision. If you like the look of this game based on this video, by all means, go and buy it. If not, again, that's okay. But if you are a racing game fan, I do highly recommend that you go and pick this up. I'd like to know in the comments below what you're thinking of Tokyo Xtreme Racer from what you've seen today. How are you feeling about this? I know the community is absolutely loving it. It's currently on overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, which is really nice to see, and I can't wait to see what else the devs do with this game too. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative, and like to see more content like this one, make sure you are subscribed. I cover the latest news and updates on racing and simulation games, and occasionally I do a first look, just like this video. So if that interests you, stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.